Eid Mubarak. Your brothers and sisters are about to complete their Hajj in Mecca. Today's khutbah, however, is not about Eid. It's not about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. We're not even close to the story of Hajj. Today's khutbah is about the animal kingdom. Today, inshallah, we'll try to learn a lesson from one of the tiniest creatures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. It's a story of Sayyiduna Sulaiman alayhi salam and the ant. One ant. As we all know, Sulaiman alayhi salam was both king as well as prophet. In some other tradition in the Bible, they only considered him to be King Solomon. But in our tradition, Sulaiman alayhi salam is both king and prophet. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him wisdom and gave him a kingdom that no one before him had and no one after him will have. Sayyiduna Sulaiman alayhi salam was given, as he said himself, عُلِّمْنَا مَنْطِقَ الطَّيْرِ. We have been taught the languages of birds. And he was also taught the languages of animals. He could understand all languages. He could understand how every creature on earth can praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what they say when they praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His army included humans, humankind, jinnkind, and birds. It was a magnificent sight. And one day, as Sulaiman marched with his enormous army through a valley, something amazing happens. They approached the valley of ants. And Sulaiman heard from far, he heard a tiny voice, a tiny faint voice. A voice perhaps no other ear could hear. An ant calling to her colony. And this was recorded in Surah An-Naml. In a few words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Naml, حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَوْا عَلَى وَادِ النَّمْلِ قَالَتْ نَمْلَةٌ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّمْلُ ادْخُلُوا مَسَاكِنَكُمْ لَا يَحْطِمَنَّكُمْ سُلَيْمَانُ وَجُنُودُهُ وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. One verse. One verse, and the words are perhaps less than 10 words. But in these 10 words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that this ant is a master communicator. This ant has mastery in communication. It delivered a message in a very powerful way. And the ulama of tafsir tell us that in this verse, there are 13 points of communication that were communicated. Communicated to her fellow ants. And not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the ant when the ant called on her colony. She said, "Udkhulu masakinakum." Enter your dwellings. Udkhulu masakinakum. Until when they came upon the valley of the ants, an ant said, "O ants, ya ayyuhal namlu, O ayyuhal ants, udkhulu masakinakum, enter your dwellings." Now the damir, the pronoun udkhulu, is used for rational beings. It's not used for animals. Udkhulu, you say this to humans. you say this to rational beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in this verse that the ants have high rationality. They're very intelligent. Many research today are done just on ants because they behave like a crystal-like and they behave sometimes like liquid-likes. If you take a ball of ant, as was done in one of the experiments, a ball of ants, ants upon ants, in the form of a ball, and you put them in water, the ants will not sink and will not drown. Instead, they'll rearrange, they'll adapt to their environment and rearrange themselves into a circle. And they're interconnected in such a way that they'll float on the surface and they will never drown. In another experiment, they experimented on the ants, and it was found that the ants, they are in a certain form, interconnected in a particular way, and you drop a penny, and then the ant will change their interconnection, and the penny will keep falling, but the formation of the ants adapts. It's like a spring. When you push a spring, it goes back to its form. And this raised a lot of questions because the ants are behaving like active matter. They're not passive matter. You throw a penny at them, and instead of having a hole into the ants, they readapt and reshape themselves. And this has application in a lot of things. Imagine if you have a glass and you shatter the glass. The glass will not be able to bring itself back to its original form. Why? Because it's a passive matter. It just receives. But the ants act like as an active matter. So ants today are subject of research. Highly intelligent, highly rational. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, an ant said, O ants, enter your dwellings, that you not be shattered by Solomon, by Sulaiman and his soldiers, while they perceive not. In this verse, what we see that this ant is indeed a master communicator, a tiny creature, perhaps smaller than a grain of wheat. First, this ant recognized from far. So it has, the first thing it did, it had sensing, it perceived, ihsas. It perceived an approaching danger from far away, perhaps vibration, perhaps something else. But she felt an army approaching, and not just any army. She recognized it was Solomon, it was Sulaiman himself. She was able to recognize the Prophet himself, along with his armies, massive armies. That's the first thing we see in this verse. The concept of sensing, ihsas. So the ant recognized the army of the most powerful king on earth, perhaps of all times. What did she do? She did not panic. She did not panic for herself. She was a leader. She was the queen of the ants. Immediately, she warned her colony. She warned her people. Kindly put your phones away. Her main concern was protecting her community from destruction. So the first thing she did, after sensing and perceiving, she took the initiative to act immediately rather than waiting. So the second topic in this verse that the ulama have extracted is the idea of mubadara, the idea of initiating. If you have a responsibility, you are proactive, you initiate. If you're a leader of a community, of a mosque, you initiate. If you sense danger, you act beforehand. And the third topic, she said, Ya ayyuhan namlu. She did not say Ya namlu, O ants. She said, O ayyuhal ants. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu. Not Ya nabi. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu. Ya ayyuhan namlu. Ya ayyuhan namlu. This, rhetorically, in balagha and in the science of tafsir, Ya is usually used specifically for calling or invoking. Invoking a subject. O my son, Ya bunay. It establishes the connection between the speaker and the listener. As soon as you hear the word Ya, O, this connection now is being established between the speaker and the listener. But the ant did not say this. She said, Ya ayyuha. Ya ayyuhan namlu. Ya ayyuhan namlu. Ya ayyuhan namlu carries with it the connotation of tanbih, of alerting. So the part of this phrase is used for alerting, for warning, for drawing attention, drawing the attention of the listener. And if you say Ya namlu, if one is heedless and not paying attention or distracted, they're not addressed by this calling. But if you say Ya ayyuhan namlu, everyone is included, even those who are heedless. Because others now will be able to tell them about it. So alerting the heedless. So the addition of Ya ayyuha, the addition of ayyuha serves as a powerful alert to ensure that even those who might be distracted, who might be unaware, who might be hidden, who might be somewhere else, are awakened to the message. And the ant is not addressing, the ant, Ya ayyuhan namlu, is addressing the whole group. So this idea of umum, this idea of generality, including everyone in the address. The fourth point is alerting, the idea of tanbih. So calling using Ya and alerting using ayyuha. The fifth point of communication in this verse is naming exactly where the danger is coming from, identifying the group being addressed, identifying its own group. Ya ayyuhan namlu, I'm not calling about the humans. Sixth, this ant is commanding. It says, Ya ayyuhan namlu, udkhulu, enter your dwellings. Udkhulu, enter. This ant is advising. That's the 7th point. Guiding them to the specific safety of their homes. The 8th point is the idea of takhsis, the idea of specifying, mentioning your dwellings, specifically go into your dwellings, implying that each ant perhaps has its own home, has its own shelter. It's like every human being, every family have their own homes, their own apartment, their own place. So it's plural and specific to them. The 9th point included in this ayah is that there is the idea of tabyin and tahzir, the idea of clarifying and warning. How does the ant do so? How did the ant do this? The ant explained the consequences of staying outside, that you be crushed. لا يحطمنكم. لا يحطمنكم. And this is, the language is very precise. It's very interesting that the Quran is using لا يحطمنكم. يحطمنكم. Shatter you or break you. Because as we know today, ants have this exoskeleton that's like silicon-like. It's like a glass-like. It can shatter and break. It's not like crushed or yad'asu or whatever word that can be used. Very precise language. Point number 10 is the idea of identifying, naming the specific source of the danger. Sulaiman, لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده. And generalization, ta'mim, including the entire force and his soldiers, because this is the valley of ants. And number 12 is emphasizing. In the verse, using linguistic markers to show the certainty of the threat. So it emphasized the advice. It emphasized that the consequences are terrible, catastrophic for them. And point number 13, last but not least, the ant is very fair, is very just. So it included the idea of i'zar, the idea of excusing. It says, while they perceive not, وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, i.e. validating that Sulaiman alayhi salam is just. Sulaiman is fair. He would never do it intentionally. And if he was to crush the ants, he would do it وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, while they perceive not. They may not be aware that they're crushing ants. Now, this ayah here, the story of Sulaiman and the ants, we are not Sulaiman, but we can compare ourselves to the ant. We are maybe a leader, maybe we're a manager, maybe we're a parent, maybe we're grandparents. We all have responsibilities. And the ant is teaching us. It's teaching how to think as a parent, how to think as a leader, how to think as someone who is responsible for a multitude of other people. And of course, this verse illustrates and highlights the Quran as a miracle, as a linguistic miracle. A single ant's statement is shown here to be a masterpiece of communication, combining leadership, combining precision, and combining fairness. The ant is fair to Sulaiman, and she knows that Sulaiman is also fair. So, in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that even the smallest creatures possess a sophisticated level of awareness. And in this case, rational communication. So what are the key takeaways from this ayah? Rational addressing. The ants are very highly intelligent, above other animal kind. The idea of justice and piety. The idea is the honor of knowledge. Sulaiman is full of wisdom, the ant is full of wisdom. And the idea of leadership. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. أقول هذا القول وأستغفر الله فاستغفروه.